Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Alberta News and Views. Today, the Speaker of the House, longtime Liberal Greg Fergus, banned Pierre Poilievre from question period for using unparliamentary language towards Minister of Foreign Affairs Melanie Jihadi Joly. Then, hours later, the Conservative Party called for the House Speaker, Greg Fergus, to be fired for banning Poilievre for using unparliamentary language. It's hilarious. It is officially a circus. What he was actually doing is stopping Pierre Poilievre from asking deep questions to Justin Trudeau about the protests that are going on in Canada, like the latest one, where they burned the Canadian flag and were saying death to Canada, death to the United States, and death to Europe. Justin Trudeau does not want to talk about that. And his immigration minister, we're going to watch this right now, definitely does not want to talk about that. You know what? I'm going to tee this up a little bit better. This is from Leo Housakos. He is one of the best senators in Canada right now. He says, Sammy Dune's leaders openly glorify terrorism in the streets in Canada. They've been declared a terrorist group by several of our allies and banned. They've been banned from Germany and the EU, Europe. Yet Canada welcomes them with open arms. Are they even Canadian citizens? Now, I'm showing you this because lots of people are messaging me saying, from the United States and Europe, asking me how are these Canadians able to burn the flag and still be there? How are they able to do this? Because they are banned in their countries. They cannot do that. They can't wear face coverings either. Watch this.
Senator Housakos.
Minister, after 9 years of Justin Trudeau, violent crime has surged by 50% in Canada. Canadians have witnessed a shocking rise in violent acts of Jew hatred following the October 7th terror attack against our ally Israel. Meanwhile, your government allows terrorist organizations to operate freely in this country, including the IRGC, which openly supports other terrorist groups like Hezbollah and Hamas. It took years from pressure from the Conservatives, including various motions in the House, before you finally did the right thing and listed them. So what's taking so long with Sammy Dune? They openly fundraise in Canada on behalf of terrorist groups. They have clear and direct ties with the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, itself listed as a terrorist entity since 2003. And its founders have openly been glorifying terrorism, advocating Jew hatred, and celebrating the death of Jews. Why hasn't your government listed Sammy Dune and kicked its founders out of Canada?
Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Senator, for the question. I assume that you are not blaming all of these issues on immigrants, as I am here in my capacity as the Minister of Immigration. Assuming that's correct, I think if you had paid attention to question period today, you would have heard the answer by the Public Security Parliamentary Secretary, who said that this matter has been referred by the Prime Minister to the National Security Advisor.
What?
Senator Housakos.
You are Minister of Immigration, and clearly I'm not blaming all immigrants. I'm a son of an immigrant. And today, Pierre Poilievre made it clear that when he becomes Prime Minister, he will immediately list Sammy Dune as the terrorist organization that it is. In the meantime, Sammy Dune has already been listed by several of our allies, including Germany. And in 2000, and Sammy Dune's leadership was also deported from Germany in 2019 and denied entry into the EU in 2022. But your government continues to receive them here in Canada. So I have two simple questions, Minister. Why are Sammy Dune leaders Charlotte Cates and Khalid Barakat allowed in Canada? Why are you allowing those two individuals here? And second, can you confirm if either of these individuals are even Canadian citizens?
Mr. Minister.
Well, you clearly, before this House, have assumed that they are not. I am not aware of what their status is currently in this country. I think the important thing here is that we need to, as a House, condemn all acts of hatred unequivocally, and particularly given the day that we commemorated somberly yesterday, anti-Semitism in all its forms.
He is clearly lost and incompetent and unqualified to be the immigration minister. He has absolutely no idea how many terrorists are in Canada right now. He could deport them instantly. He could end all of this instantly. He is the immigration minister. He got this job because he was like a college buddy with Justin Trudeau, like all of the other ministers that are spending billions of dollars on consultants to do their job for them because they are incapable of doing it. Does this guy make you feel safe? Does he make you feel safe in Canada when he can't answer simple questions like, hey, the rest of the world is banning these people, why aren't you? And all he says is, the RCMP are taking care of it. And we already know that the RCMP can't do anything because the federal government doesn't let them do investigations because they shut everything down. Hence, banning Pierre Poilievre from asking questions in question period. How democratic is that? Unbelievable. Changing pace to the climate. Did you know that there's this crazy fire going on in Wyoming right now? Now, all I did was just check to see if there is actually a fire in Wyoming, and there is. So don't go crazy that I got some stats wrong or something like that. It's just the coincidences are unbelievable. So you'll never guess what they're going after now. That's what this guy says. So nearly 73,000 acres of the Bighorn National Forest is now on fire. The previous largest fire recorded in the forest's 100-year history topped out at around 18,000 acres and took weeks to grow that size. Over the weekend, the elk fire grew more than 25,000 acres in a matter of hours. And from the little I researched this, they said that it was because of high winds, of course, and this fire was started by lightning. That is what they are saying. It is unbelievable when you see the scale and how fast this thing is going up. And there's this other hurricane that is the hurricane to end all hurricanes rolling through Florida. And the mayor of Tampa, I believe, said if you don't get out, you're going to die. You are not going to believe this. So this is from Wide Awake Media. This is Canadian MP Laurel Collins. Quote, climate emergencies are not gender neutral. The degradation of ecosystems disproportionately impacts women and girls, and I am wildly emotional. This is the existential crisis of our time. We need to think about the intersection of gender and the climate crisis. We are facing a climate emergency. Of course, this is the NDP right here. This face says it all. Watch this.
I want to start off by addressing one of the comments that was made by the witnesses around climate hysterics. Hysteria, it refers to something that is wildly emotional. It comes from the Greek word womb, of the womb. It is used in ancient Greek to refer to things associated with women. And I hope you'll forgive me if I get emotional. Climate emergencies are not gender neutral. The degradation of ecosystems disproportionately impacts women and girls. And I am wildly emotional. This is the existential crisis of our time. And to hear that we're asking for high ambition is climate hysteria, that makes me wildly emotional. Absolutely. You know, when I think about my womb, you know, the two children that I bore from that womb and what future we are leaving them, I am wildly emotional. And it's not surprising to hear this from someone who has written articles that are pro-life. I think that we need to think about the intersection of gender and the climate crisis. And I hope that the people around this table and the people listening will refrain from using language like climate hysteria. We are facing a climate emergency.
We're facing a humanity emergency. These people are just fucking crazy. Like, you look at the politicians that are elected right now. These people have lost all grasp of reality, and they are hysterical. We have a mayor in Tampa saying if you don't leave the city, you're going to die. Seriously? Mark Miller can't answer simple questions. He doesn't even know how many terrorists are in Canada or what to do about it. Like, it's like I tell everybody, we're in absolute chaotic, crazy times because what's going on right now is mental warfare. Social media, Trudeau Media Corp, mainstream media in the United States, they are blasting out just as much information, misinformation, disinformation. I don't care what it is. They're blasting out so much at once. It is creating mass hysteria. That is the point. It is mental warfare. So you think irrational. It's unbelievable. I'll give you a good example. In Alberta, Danielle Smith was answering a question about chemtrails, and she is paraphrasing clearly. She was paraphrasing other people about chemtrails. She said, I looked into it and I couldn't find any evidence that they exist, yada, yada, yada. They took that, spliced it. The media took that and said, Danielle Smith is talking conspiracy theories about chemtrails. So they blow this up. So now everybody is just going nuts over that. But what you have to remember is to just stick with the facts. And then the truth always reaches the surface when you do that. All you have to do is a quick search. Okay? Cloud seeding is real. They did it around Saudi Arabia and in China. I think it was Dubai flooded, and they blamed it on cloud seeding. This is a real thing. Weather modification has been around since the 60s. You can search it up. It is a real thing. Weather modification it's on the Canadian website. It is all there. These are not conspiracies. The conspiracy part is if they're actually using it or doing things, because right now the weather is really crazy. And when we ask questions about it, we don't get any answers. The only answer that I always hear is, well, that would never happen. It's against the law. Well, there are a lot of things happening right now that are against the law. Hence the Green Slush Fund that we're not allowed to ask questions about in Canada, which is just one of, I would say, 40 scandals going on right now with this liberal NDP government, only in Canada, not talking about all the other countries. Seriously. I'm going to keep you updated with as much as I can when I can. Follow me on Substack and Spotify and YouTube. All of you out there, like, share, and take care.